This is Nasha Kasha, Ukrainian Almanac, 28 minutes of stories for everyone about Ukrainian life. Nasha Kasha comes to you from the campus of Western University in London, Ontario, Canada. I'm your reporter, Stefan Andrusiak, and through songs and some personal stories, I'd like to dedicate this show to our Ukrainian-Canadian pioneers. The first recorded Ukrainian settlers arrived in Canada in 1891 when two immigrants, Vasil Elenyak and Ivan Pilipiu, from the Galician province of what is today Ukraine, landed in Montreal. They would settle in Western Canada. Within the years that followed, tens of thousands of Ukrainians arrived in this country. This is Ottawa resident Vasil Popadyuk and the Popadyuk Band. Here's a song I wrote with my London, Ontario-based friend Ihor Zhilak to commemorate those first settlers. Their destination and their new life in Canada was a speck on a map that came to be called Edna Star, Alberta. And performing it was Western University School of Music graduate, our very own Christopher Dunham.
My friend and I, we're all alone. His wife, my girl, they're both back home. A fertile land, a brand new start. We'll work so hard, so far apart. I pray each night, I love my girl. She'll follow me to this new world. We'll lift the rocks and plant our dreams. We'll grow our wheat, get off our knees. Oh, Edna Star, how sweet you are. Our new land's here, Ukraine so far. We left the steppes, Ukraine, to make our home in Canada. There's lots of wood, the forest so deep. Near Edna Star, we'll earn our keep. Our neighbors' farms are up the road. They'll need a hand, we'll share their load. Not all went well, internment hate, but time heals wounds, we'll integrate. With glowing hearts, let's sing our songs. We'll make new friends and right the wrongs. Oh, Edna Star, how sweet you are. Our new land's here, Ukraine so far. We left the steppes, Ukraine, to make our home in Canada. We paid our debts, we opened doors, we sacrificed, we fought in wars. No Hilita, live many years. Let's nurture joy and banish fears. Know who you are and keep God's faith. Embrace new cultures, share debate. 12 decades past, we bless the years. Shevchenko's children, pioneers. Oh, Edna Star, how sweet you are. Our home is here, Ukraine so far. They did it all. We stand in awe. They came and helped build Canada. Oh, Canada, Nasha земля, Даруй мої, наші серця, не
what is today Ukraine, was part of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. Canada was promoting the prairies and encouraging settlement. Those who came to work the land were met with harsh weather and sometimes even harsher attitudes. The First World War broke out. Austro-Hungary was an enemy. People who had emigrated from the area controlled by Austro-Hungary were now viewed with suspicion. The War Measures Act was set up as a result of an order in council. Yes, the very first War Measures Act in Canada was aimed at Ukrainians. Ukrainians were identified as enemy aliens. 80,000 people, the majority of them from Ukrainian backgrounds, were forced to register as enemy aliens of Canada. 8,579 people, of whom 5,000 were Ukrainians, were sent to forced labor camps. Internment lasted for 2 years after the end of the First World War. Now, a similar fate would befall Canadians of Japanese origin years later when Japan would enter into the Second World War. And again, people born Canadian, not ever having been to Japan, were interned. Work camps were set up for Ukrainians in Banff, Kingston, and Spirit Lake in northern Quebec, in BC, Nova Scotia. Most of them were in Ontario, and there were 24 camps in all. Here's Kozak System from Ukraine with their song Snig,
which means snow.
Що тобі до моєї печалі, що тобі до моєї тривоги? Тихі човни ще стоять на причалі, і вода розбиває пороги. Що тобі до моєї любові, що тобі до цієї розлуки? Якщо на місячному серпові з'являються знаки, лунають звуки. Я тримався твоєї тиші, тримався за те, що було зі мною, але ніжність твоя така невтішна, і сніги летять над твоєю зимою, і блукає світло твоїми руками, і твої сновидіння такі примарні, і коли ти спиш, безнадійно зникають північні птахи в золотому тумані. Але на всьому буде лежати сніг. Скільки би я не говорив прощай, дати до тебе все, що я справді міг, щоб залишатися довше, ніж зазвичай. Ти торкаєшся снів устами, і коли в твоїх снах проростає втіха, темна вода під важкими мостами спиняється, невагома і тиха. Тому що тобі до останніх трамваїв, що тобі до моїх освідчень, це для нас із тобою так щемко триває цей нічний безкінечний січень. І хай це тепло зринає і виростає. Якби ти не любила свій перший сніг, я завжди буду лишати твої міста.
The song concludes, and it would have sounded something like this in English. I kiss our dreams, and snow will cover everything. Dark waters stop under heavy bridges. They stop there weightless and quiet. I confess that I will miss you, and the pain will last beyond this endless January night. Let our warmth grow as did our love in that first snow. I will leave your cities, but I will always come back to them, and snow will cover everything. No matter that we have to say goodbye, the only thing I can really do is return to you, and I will stay longer than usual. Longer than usual.
Наша пісня, рідний стрій, хлопці із Канади, рушничок.
I am from Canada. Maybe it's a maple leaf flag sewn onto a backpack. In most places, the words, "We're from Canada," mean that decency and goodwill are in your neighborhood. The song Canada's Rushnichok, "My Chlopці із Канади," was meant to be just that kind of an introduction. 1 minute and 50 seconds long. It became a fun-to-play novelty number. We opened our concerts and dances with it. The words say Rushnichok. It's all about the dance. It's the words. It's the song that we treasure. Listen, you'll hear it all, the happy and the sad, because the dance is in all of us. This signature song wasn't written by anyone in the band. It wasn't even written by a Canadian. This proclamation to Canadian goodwill and love of music came to us as a gift. Roman Borodievich was a Philadelphia area composer, and he surprised us with it. Soon everyone wanted to hear it. It became our dependable show opener, and it captured what we were all about as a band and as Canadians. It was only natural that it also became the opening song on our third album. Our music today is streamed most often in Finland, of all places, followed by the US, Spain, Australia, Germany, France, the United Kingdom, Latvia, Poland, and Sweden. After so many years, we are still friends. We are still the Chlopci із Канади, happy to proclaim that Canada is in your neighborhood. Nasha Kasha comes to you from Radio Western 94.9 FM on the campus of Western University in London, Ontario, Canada. We're heard on CHMR 93.5 FM in St. John's, Newfoundland, on CKDU 88.1 FM in Halifax, on Local 107.3 FM in St. John, New Brunswick, on CJAS Radio 93.5 FM in Saint Augustine, Quebec, on CJLO 1690 AM in Montreal, on CFRC 101.9 FM in Kingston, on CFMU 93.3 FM in Hamilton, On CKMS 102.7 FM in Kitchener-Waterloo, on CJAM 99.1 FM in Windsor and Detroit, on CKLU 96.7 FM in Sudbury, on CILU 102.7 FM in Thunder Bay, on 101.5 UMFM in Winnipeg, on CJTR 91.3 FM in Regina, on CFMQ 98.1 FM in Hudson Bay, Saskatchewan, on CFBX 92.5 FM in Kamloops, on CIVL 101.7 FM in Abbotsford, on CJSF 90.1 FM in Vancouver, and on CHLY 101.7 FM in Nanaimo, British Columbia. You are listening to the Veseli Vujke, which means the happy uncles, and a melody from Bukovina. Now, according to the Internet Encyclopedia of Ukraine, Bukovina is that territory between the middle Dniester River and the main range of the Carpathian Mountains, around the source of the Prut River and the upper Seret River, the border area between Ukraine and Romania. When I was a student, I worked briefly for CFOX Radio in Montreal on the West Island. Thereafter filing my first ever radio report over the phone, my boss came on the line, and he told me to sign off with a different name. Andrusiak would become Andrews. I had no choice but to follow through if I wanted my report to be aired, he said. That afternoon, he told me that if I kept my Ukrainian surname, it would lack a certain credibility. I said no. He said, leave. My boss was of Ukrainian descent, and in his own way probably thought he was doing the right thing, having changed his own name. Our band Rushnichok never shied away from writing songs about difficult topics, and so it was that bandmate Yurko Shtik with friend Boris Budny co-wrote the song Reflections, Ya Babut Kolis Tut Bu. The singer returns to a place where he once belonged and reflects on the consequences of having changed his Ukrainian name. We wanted the song to be thought-provoking, but it also hurt many feelings. We know today that following internment during the First World War, many Ukrainians felt they had little choice but to simplify or de-Ukrainianize their names if they were to succeed. I present our song today with one personal footnote. When my own father arrived in Canada after the Second World War, he found that a translator had changed the E ending to a Ya in his surname. Andrusiak became Andrusiak. He would later tell me the change was a pleasant surprise, for it made his surname sound more distinguished. And so he kept it, and I was born with a changed name. From Рушничок Volume 3, here is Я, мабуть, колись тут був, Reflections.
Я, мабуть, колись тут був, глядів на ці обличчя, котрих майже не забув, не знав я їх тоді і не хотів їх знати, бо не було це моє. Я пішов у бурхливий світ, здобувати собі славу, зате по собі світ затаїв свій рід. В тінях своєї пам'яті не дав йому свій спліт, зрікся мови рідної, культуру народа занехав, бо не бажав її гідної. Родина моя та не своя, діти не знають, хто вони, бо я змінив своє ім'я. Так закрив по собі шлях до рідної сім'ї, загибаю в чужих нутрах, стою цілком безрадним, розірваний болем люті. Болем для мене безпощадним, зрікся мови рідної, культуру народа занехав, бо не бажав її гідної. Родина моя та не своя, діти не знають, хто вони, бо я змінив своє ім'я.
This is Ron Cahoot and the album Burya Then and Now Remastered. This song is called Hop Stop Canada.
Мама має люльку, тато папіроса, стулили докупи, вийшла донька боса. Тато має шкварки, мама їх засмаже, ляжуть під перину, вже синок вилазить. Возьму торбу сала, кіло мармаляди, бувайте здорові, йду до Канади. Хоп, стоп, Канада, старих на не рада, молодих, давайте, а ви, хлопці, грайте.
On September 7th every year, Ukrainian-Canadian heritage is officially celebrated in Ontario and in Alberta. 2021 will mark the 130th year Ukrainians have called Canada home. According to the Ukrainian-Canadian Congress's website, Canada is home to over 1.3 million Canadians of Ukrainian descent. And the UCC is working with all political parties to have every September officially designated Ukrainian-Canadian Heritage Month.
По Канаді ходжу, долярі рахую, де мені застане, то і заночую. Мама має гроші, а тато доляри, тато купив мамі чорні окуляри. Заробив доляри з тим великим паном, виплив він на шифі, а я аеропляном.
Nasha Kasha is also a podcast. There's an easy way to access it. Go to nashakasha.libsyn.com. Nasha Kasha is one word. Libsyn is spelled Libsyn.com. nashakasha.libsyn.com. New Pathway Ukrainian News delivers news and insight every week in English and Ukrainian. Subscribe today at newpathway.ca. Partial funding for Nasha Kasha comes from the Taras Shevchenko Foundation and the Ukrainian Credit Union. I'm your reporter Stefan Andrusiak. Back in a week, God willing. До милої зустрічі за тиждень часу, дорогі слухачі.